Heating and air conditioning, HVAC, home heating and cooling for residential. This is a heat strip here, say a 5K heat strip for the heat pumps, and within the 5K heat strip is 5 kilowatts, which one can take and say 5,000. And if you're looking for the amperage, you might take 5,000, divide it by 240. But anyway, notwithstanding, the voltage comes through here and through here, and as one notice, it passes through this little thing here, and this little thing here may be considered a limit switch. If somebody knows, they can add that to the comments. But so what does a limit switch do? We can take an analogy, which would be a fictitious analogy, and take a speed limit sign on the highway and say the speed limit sign says 65 or however many miles per hour. When we go over that, it becomes taboo. Say, for instance, this limit switch here, and I'm sure there varies and variations of temperature. When this one here, it looks like when it goes over maybe 165 degrees, that would be too high, say above the limit. But this would be heat, not speed. So when this heat temperature would get up, this would open up. This would stop the electricity here and here. So now this limit switch may be resettable in and of itself. So as we can read, it says, okay, so if we have 165 degrees, this system cuts off to allow the heat to perhaps dissipate, or whatever reasons it may cut on or off or whatnot. But to keep too much heat as a safety feature, in my opinion, and again, the experts can add this to the comments. So it goes 165 minus 50. So if this thing goes above 165 degrees, this limit switch, this is it should be a normally closed relay perhaps. Then it would open up and become a normally open. So once it's normally open, or due to the high temperature, then there's no electricity coming through here. So it's like, for instance, if we take another fictitious analogy, if we have a light bulb and a switch, and we go over there and switch the switch, and we switched it to off, if it goes over 165 degrees, if this limit switch is working properly, it should cut it off. So, okay, but it goes 165 minus 50. So if we take 165, subtract 50 from that, that leaves 115. So I'm assuming, and the experts can add this, I'm not sure if this is fact or fiction, but if it hits 115 degrees, this closes. So once it closes, then what happens? We have electricity here, and the electricity is going through here, so it has a free path to enter from here to here uninterrupted if everything's working properly, and if the heat strips are not broken, etc. But once we allow electricity through here, and if all things being equal, and if it's working properly, then the heat strips perhaps should light up. So again, let's reiterate here. Okay, limit switch, normally closed relay, electricity flows through, and it goes through it. So if we took a river and took an analogy and set this right down in the river passes right through this, the electricity of river, hypothetically. Okay, if this thing gets too hot, 165 degrees, if it senses that temperature, this normally closed may open. So if it opens, then there's no electricity, so the heat strips cut off. Okay, and it's 165, so I mean 165, I hope I said that correctly, 165 limit. And again, these switches may vary from unit to unit, temperature to temperature, so this is just because this says one temperature doesn't mean they all do. But, okay, when this hits 165, so when we take 165 and it's a 165 minus 50, so if we take 165, subtract 50, we come up to 115 degrees. Once the temperature begins to reduce itself to 115 degrees, this closes, and if we have electricity here, the electricity should begin to flow and the heat strip should come back on. So 165.50, and temperature above 165 cuts off. Once the temperature hits, and this is minus 50, and the gurus can, and see if this is correct. I'm not certain if it's correct, but if not, somebody can add this to the comments. But say 165 minus 50, we come up with 115, if my math is right. Very limited on mathematics. Okay, 165 and a greater cuts off. 115 equal to 115 cuts on. So 165 minus 50. So if the temperature went back down to 115, then this should close and the electricity should flow freely. Thank you for watching and have a wonderful day.